Hi, I'm Lisa Rogers. My children are Nick Rogers, Natalie Rogers, and Avery Rogers. And I'm here to talk about adoption and how it relates to Mary in the Bible. So I've been given some questions, and the first one is, in the very simplest of terms, what is adoption? And as I thought about it, I feel like there are three definitions of adoption. There's a legal definition, which is, signing the paperwork. It involves courts and judges, and it creates a legal responsibility to take care of a child. There's also the emotional aspect of adoption. And the emotional aspect is love, is, wanting to help someone and bring them into your home and love them as if they are your own child. And then the third is the biblical definition of adoption, which is as God did for us. And so I'm going to read you the scripture from Galatians 4, verses 4 to 5. But when the set time has fully come, God sent his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those under the law, that we might receive adoption to sonship. And I feel like that is the most important definition of adoption. The next question is, when you sign paperwork for adoption, what emotions are going through your mind and why? And I think that depends on the situation. There are people who sign adoption paperwork because their children have not been able to take care of their own children, and so they're bringing their grandchildren into the home. There are people who have never been able to have children and are adopting children so that they can create their own family. There are all kinds of reasons for signing that adoption paperwork. When Dwayne and I were signing ours, there were so many emotions. There was hope, there was just excitement and so much love, and also a little bit of sadness as we just prayed that Natalie and Nick and Avery's birth parents would find a path that would lead them closer to Jesus, and that would stop the cycle that was creating the need for this adoption in the first place. The next question, what are some of the hazards of taking on someone else's child? I think the main one is knowing that they will always have a piece of their heart with someone that they may have never met, and recognizing the role that you play is not to replace any part of that heart, is to welcome that piece of the child's heart and help them to nourish that piece and to recognize where they come from, what their identity is, but to also still recognize that they have a family in the present right with them. The next question, being general, why would you adopt and would you do it again? I would do it again in a heartbeat. As far as I'm concerned, the reason for adopting is love. No matter what the situation is, we talked before about the different reasons why someone might be signing adoption paperwork. I think any of those reasons is love. And I think that ties back to the biblical reason for adoption. And what have you learned from being a mother of adopted children? I always have referred to my children as gifted children. They're all very smart, of course, but what I mean by that is that they were gifted to me. They were chosen by God to be in my home and to be my family. They themselves had to go through some difficult experiences to get there, and Dwayne and I had to go through some difficult experiences to get there too, but they are absolutely a gift, and so they are now and will always be my gifted children.
What are, let me ask you this, what are some joys that you found from adopting such sweet kids?
I think just watching them grow, watching them develop, it's really neat to me to see the parts of them that are biological, that comes from their part of the family, from their biological family, and then watching them develop mannerisms or beliefs that are definitely more part of our family. And so I think it's really neat seeing those two aspects of them merge together to create the person that they are.
Cool. How would you say that there's similarities between you and Mary, being that she took on Jesus, the Son of God?
Well, I think you have a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions going into taking responsibility for someone else's child. There's a lot of weight to it, but also a lot of gratitude. And I can only imagine that Mary felt the weight of the responsibility that she was literally carrying, but also felt just the magnitude of what this would bring to the world, and the questions that she faced by being pregnant and unwed. There were a lot of uncomfortable moments for her, I'm sure, but knowing the meaning of the experience and knowing what would come from it, I think that makes all of the uncomfortable moments, or all of the questions and worries and how are we going to make this work, makes it all worth it.
This one will probably, you can tell me if you don't want this one, but have you ever asked the question, why me? Why did I get these gifts?
Yeah. But it hasn't really been in a this is too difficult way. It has been, I think from the beginning, it has been so clear to us that we were given these specific children because we were meant to be their parents. We were equipped. That's something that Renee has said to me before that I absolutely love. Don't pray for God to equip you. Pray for God to equip them. You are already equipped. And I feel like we were equipped the moment Natalie walked into our house. And the very first day that she was placed with us, she walked in and she said, "You're my mom, you're my dad, and we're a family." And it has been so ever since.